A Bowl Full of Peace, a True Story by Karen Stelson, illustrated by Akira Kusaka. Itadakimasu, traditionally spoken before eating a meal. This Japanese word means we humbly receive this food. No one knows how old grandmother's bowl is. No one can remember who made it. No one can count how many times the bowl has passed from mother to daughter. But everyone knows grandmother's bowl is precious. The city of Nagasaki sits along the Sea of Japan. Mountains rise up around the harbor, and houses made of wood and with paper windows dot the hillsides. On hot afternoons, Sachiko and her brothers Aki and Ichiro chase dragonflies as cicadas buzz their summer song. In the evenings, Sachiko's family gathers together. Mother places grandmother's bowl in the middle of the low table. As always, the bowl offers good things to eat: squid, eel, octopus, and udon noodles. Sachiko and her family press their hands together and bow their heads. Itadikamasu, they whisper. As Sachiko grows older, the sounds of war come to Nagasaki. The clanging of hammers building torpedoes, the marching of soldiers training for battle, the cries of those whose husbands, fathers, and brothers who have been killed in the fighting. War for Sachiko means less and less of everything. Now grandmother's bowl offers only bits of mackerel floating in broth, but the family is still together. Even Sister Misa and little Toshi learn to press their hands together. Itadakimasu. The sounds of war grow even closer. The grunts of boys and girls digging air raid shelters into hillsides. The wail of air raid sirens echoing through the city. The rumbles of enemy bombers flying overhead. Sachiko is eager to start school, but after the first day, the school closes. Too dangerous, says the principal as he looks up at the sky. The family still gathers each night for the evening meal. Now grandmother's bowl offers only wheat balls floating in boiled water. Mother says, "Eat everything, children. Eat every bit is precious." Sachiko and her family press their hands together and bow their heads. Itadakimasu. Summer comes again. The hot month of August arrives. On August 9th, Sachiko's father visits a sick friend. Mother prepares breakfast. Aki, Ichiro, and Sachiko wait at the low table. So do Misa and little Toshi. Suddenly, the air raid siren begins to wail. Everyone runs for the shelter. They leave everything behind, even grandmother's bowl. Together they huddle in the cave with their neighbors, hoping no bomb will fall from the sky. Finally, a siren blares all clear. Everyone sighs. Outside, Sachiko's friends ask if she would like to play house. Yes, she would. Sachiko and her friends laugh together and make mud dumplings with their small hands. An enemy bomber rumbles high above the clouds. No one notices until it's too late. Sachiko looks around her. What happened? Father, mother, Sachiko, and Misa survive. Brothers Aki and Ichiro do too, but not Toshi. Little Toshi is killed in the blast. Through the day and into the night, fires burn across the city. Early in the morning, Sachiko's father makes a decision. We must leave Nagasaki. A train is coming to take us away from the city. We must go now. Follow me. Everywhere, people are suffering. I'm so thirsty, voices whisper. Water. Please. Please, water. In a small hospital away from Nagasaki, Sachiko's brothers are now very sick. No one understands why. No one understands it because of the radiation from the bomb. Aki dies. Then Ichiro dies. Sachiko and sister Misa become ill. So do mother and father. Ice chips help soothe their burning throats, but nothing can stop the pain. Not even the end of the war. 2 years passed before Sachiko's family returns to Nagasaki. Sachiko's father digs through the rubble that was once their home. Something glimmers in the dust, something green and shiny. Grandmother's bowl. It has survived without even a chip or crack. Everyone in Sachiko's family has touched this bowl. Everyone has eaten from it, even Aki, Ichiro, and little Toshi. At their evening meal, Sachiko's mother places the precious bowl in the middle of a wooden crate. Sachiko and her family press their hands together and bow their heads. Itadakimasu. As cicadas sing their summer song, another August 9th arrives. In the morning, Sachiko's family kneels in front of the wooden crate. This time, Sachiko's mother fills grandmother's bowl with ice. Sachiko's mother speaks softly. We must never forget what happened on this day. Remember how a chip of ice eased our thirst? As the ice melts, let us remember all who suffered and all who died. We must pray that such a terrible war never happens again. 5 years pass. The radiation from the bomb makes more people sick. Sachiko's sister becomes ill and dies. Another 5 years pass. Sachiko's father becomes ill and dies. Each August, Sachiko's mother fills grandmother's bowl with ice. Sachiko and her mother watch the ice melt. Together, they remember what happened. Together, they pray for peace. Then, Sachiko's mother becomes ill and dies. In August, Sachiko fills grandmother's bowl with ice. She bows her head as the ice melts. Grandmother's bowl is now Sachiko's to care for. Sachiko fills her grandmother's bowl with good things to eat, just as her mother did. She presses her hands together and bows her head. Itadakimasu. On August 9th, 50 years after the war's end, Sachiko fills grandmother's bowl with ice. She can no longer be silent about what happened to her. She must tell her story. The world must know that such a bomb can never be used again. That evening, Sachiko stands before a group of children and shares her story for the first time. She begins, "What happened to me must never happen to you." And the children listen. Author's note: the story in this book has been close to my heart for many years. Between 2010 and 2015, I made 5 visits to Nagasaki and spent many hours interviewing Sachiko Yasui about her experience as a survivor of the atomic bomb during World War II to write the book Sachiko, a Nagasaki bomb survivor's story. The more Sachiko told me about her grandmother's bowl, the more I knew the bowl had a story of its own to tell. Sachiko was only 6 years old on August 9th, 1945, when the atomic bomb detonated over her city of Nagasaki. She was playing outside with her friends, a mere 900 meters, about a half mile, from ground zero. Few people survived the bombing that close to the explosion. Her playmates were all killed. Buildings were destroyed, including Sachiko's own home. Sachiko's family had to leave Nagasaki for a time. When they returned to their home to rebuild, everyone was greatly surprised as Sachiko's father pulled grandmother's bowl from the rubble. The bowl had survived without a chip or crack. As Sachiko told me, the bowl had the fingerprints of all the members of her family on it. Despite war, death, and suffering, grandmother's bowl brought Sachiko's family together again. To help tell this story, I included the Japanese word itadakimasu. Rooted in Japanese Buddhism, itadakimasu means I humbly receive. Each time I visited Sachiko in Nagasaki, we shared meals together, often a delicious array of fresh fish, eel, octopus, and udon noodles. Before beginning to eat, we pressed our hands together and whispered, Itadakimasu. I humbly receive this food. As I read more about itadakimasu, I grew to appreciate the word's greater meaning. I am grateful for everything and everyone who made this meal possible. At the heart of itadakimasu is gratitude. I am grateful for my friendship with Sachiko. She taught me about the strength to live as a Hibakashua, an atomic bomb survivor, the determination needed to find a path to peace, and the courage it takes to tell one's story as an eyewitness to nuclear war. No one can fully appreciate a story such as Sachiko's without knowing something about the history of World War II and the grim events of the Pacific War. The Pacific War was deadly for all sides, both the Allied powers, which included the United States, and the Axis powers, which included Japan. As World War II neared its end, the United States dropped atomic bombs over two Japanese cities. On August 6, 1945, the crew of the U.S. B-29 bomber Enola Gay flew above the city of Hiroshima, detonating an atomic bomb with the equivalent force of 15,000 tons of TNT. With one bomb, 140,000 people were killed, and 90% of the city was destroyed. 3 days later, the crew of the B-29 bomber Boxcar flew above the city of Nagasaki. The second atomic bomb, with an equivalent force of 21,000 tons of TNT, killed approximately 74,000 people. During each detonation, many people, including Sachiko's youngest brother Toshi, were wounded or killed by glass, wood, and metal flying through the air, propelled by the bomb's blast. Many others died from flash burns and severe radiation exposure from the nuclear explosion. Soon after the atomic bombings, World War II came to an end. But the end of the war did not end the suffering of the atomic bomb survivors. In the months and years that followed, many more survivors would die from radiation sickness and cancers from radiation exposure. The United States' decision to use the atomic bomb as a weapon of war changed the world forever. We know that nuclear weapons must never be used again, yet thousands of nuclear weapons exist in the world's arsenals today. These present-day nuclear weapons are far more powerful than the ones detonated over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In 2017, the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons received the Nobel Peace Prize for its role in achieving the United Nations Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons to outlaw nuclear weapons around the world. Until nuclear weapons are eliminated, every August 9th, I will fill my own grandmother's bowl with ice and imagine all those who know Sachiko's story filling their grandmother's bowls too. As the ice melts, may we pray for peace, believe in peace, and work toward world peace for the benefit of everyone. Karen Stelson.